just about sits in front of me. Merckx still side by side as we're just watching Verstappen romp off into the distance. A massive thank you to Awoken, Celery, Prashiv and David for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 1 of Season 6 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we return here to Bahrain. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago where we did all of the pre-season testing news and everything like that, definitely go back and check it out. New power units, new teammates, teams that are on the rise, teams that have maybe fallen back down in a bit of performance as we head into the new year. It really is once again another step into the unknown. Of course, can we do the double? Can we come back and win our second World Championship in a row? I'm sure Lewis Hamilton, obviously he's retired from the sport now. He won't be a challenge for us. Max Verstappen, though, at Red Bull. Maybe even Yuki Tsunoda, of course, and Jack Aitken, a bit of an unknown over at Mercedes as we head into the new year as well. Having a look, though, at the performance chart, Mercedes seem to have a slight advantage over the rest of the field at the moment. There, Red Bull and ourselves, as well as McLaren, are basically tied for second place. They're ahead of Ferrari. And then, yeah, Williams all the way up into 6th place as we head into the new year. How long they're going to be held out, hang on for, is a very different question there. Then we got AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, Alpine, and then a big drop back down to Haas at the rear of the field there. But a long old season ahead of us, 16 races. Once again, they're taking us around the globe. Fingers crossed we can have a good start to the campaign here. I'm really excited to jump into it. If you're not already, get yourself subscribed as well for daily F1 2021 content. And yeah, let's dive in then here. I can't believe I'm saying this once again, to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Right, well, here we go then. Back in Bahrain, ready for Season 6, and I've got to admit already, first lap with the gold paint scheme then. It's certainly quite bright, I think, on F1 2021. We might have to change that around later on down the line. Some of you guys have said you've loved it on the off-board shots. Others of you have said you're not a fan. Understandably, it's, I think, a little bit, just a little bit, sort of separates people's, a bit dividing, I think is the way we're going to describe this thing. But first laps then, in the new car, ready for Season 6. Shouldn't see too many changes from the end of Season 5 there. Of course, we managed to get all the upgrades fixed and are ready to go for the new year. It's just a case of seeing what the other teams have been able to do with their cars as well. But yeah, fingers crossed that this season, we can have another solid campaign. On, just tip it in. Obviously, some of you guys are asking about whether this will be the last My Team season on F1 2021. To be honest, I haven't quite decided just yet. It won't be the end of F1 2021 content by any means. But, maybe at the end of Season 6, we'll have a bit of a reshuffle, change up some things, maybe do an F1 2022 mod, depending on what's available at the time. But yeah, this first lap hasn't been particularly brilliant. About 3/4 of a second down on the target, but finding a lot of delta as we head down in towards the final couple of corners. Let's go for a bit more of an attacking lap then, and try to sort of learn this car's limitations. While coming down in towards the final couple of corners then of lap 2, safe to say this one has been a whole lot better there. Just, first lap in the car, you don't want to stack it, is kind of the key on F1 at 2021, but looks like it's going to be the green score unless I can lift towards the line. Only the green score there, but that's good enough. Must admit, immediately I'm getting the impression the Mercedes power unit is a lot more linear with its sort of power output there. We don't seem to get as much snap oversteer and things like that out of the car. Now, we've always prided ourselves on being pretty good on tyre wear, so as we head down in towards the final corner, it looks like it is going to be the purple score there by pretty much a second as well on the delta. But yeah, the car's feeling good. I think we're ready for qualifying. We are now just 1 month away from the new F1 season, of course, with all the new liveries revealing, means that we've got all new merch drops. The 2022 McLaren replica launch has now gone live, as well as the 2022 Ferrari collection, and of course, yeah, the Puma drop as well, featuring brands from Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari. Of course, there are options available for every single team still. Click the link down below, and yeah, buy yourself some merch for 2022. Well, the more things change on F1 2021, the more some things stay the same. Haas, not within a second of anyone at the end of Q1 there. Both Astons and both Alpines joined them, though, on the bench at the end of the first qualifying session. So both Alfa Romeos and Williams out into Q2, as we would have expected. Let's see if we can try and get a good lap in. Oh, on the mediums, that was a rather nice lock-up in towards Turn 1. Obviously, wasn't planning on trying to make it through into Q3 on these tyres. I think the front few teams are a bit too close together for that, but was meant to help us get our eye in, but definitely wasn't the case through T1. Well, safe to say this lap has been absolutely woeful to kickstart our Q2 run there. The yellow tyres don't really work with the gold either, so I'm not too gutted that we're not going to be starting on these ones. Sainz sets a 23.2. I think, yeah, really, really fast times are going to just nip into the 22s there, as we set a 25.4. Not quite what I wanted. Leclerc goes onto the front row. Ferrari are fast. Right, and now with 7 minutes left on the clock. Currently running Alfa Romeo sandwich down in P15, but plenty of mistakes and some better tyres as well. We're going to go out on the same set we used for our Q1 run. Let's see now if we can try and post this thing at least down in sort of the mid to high 23s. And heading down in towards the final turns once more then. Looks like we should be on for around a 23.6 or 23.7, as long as I don't do anything stupid through this final corner. As he proceeds to do something stupid in the final corner there. We know there's pace then in the car, but just overstepping the mark slightly there. Luckily kept out the walls, no permanent damage done, apart from to my ego. Yeah, we're going to get one more shot of this then. This needs to be fast. Right, no heroics this time, Matt. Just try and get the lap hooked up. We need to try and aim for, yeah, again, sort of a mid-23. Want to make it through into the final qualifying session. Going out in Q2 isn't the worst thing in the world in Bahrain, but I'd rather sort of set the tone for the year with some better qualifying performances. Well, this is effectively a practice run for our Q3 outings, and we're 2 seconds up as we head through the final corner, being really, really careful on the throttle on the exit. And this is actually going to be a very, very competitive lap time there. A 23.2. Purple in the final sector. That puts us right towards the front. And there we go then. The end of Q2. Sergio Perez fastest ahead of Max Verstappen and myself there. Sainz gets in between the 2 and 2 Motorsport cars. But yeah, Ferrari, Mercedes... Well, Mercedes a little bit further back there with McLaren. But I mean, yeah, even then, the top 10 separated by just 6/10 at the end of Q2 there. Both AlphaTauris, Williams and Alfa Romeos out in the second session. But pole last year, for reference, was a 22.0. So definitely the cars have got a bit slower. What we're going to be able to do, though, in Q3, maybe we can put this thing on pole for the first race of the year. We need to try and get a 22. Right, well, we're definitely going to need a couple of sweat mode laps here in Q3. But if we can get a 22... and we'll definitely find ourselves right towards the sharp end. Perez has set 23.0s in both Q1 and Q2 there. And yeah, I think if we get the lap hooked up, we can definitely be right on the money. First lap's felt pretty good so far, but definitely a little bit left on the table as Gasly out of nowhere on a 22.5. It looks like Pierre has got rid of the sandbags. Love to see that from our new teammate. There was a bit of a wobble at the final corner. What time are we going to be able to do then? It's going to be a 23.3. So behind the Red Bulls, as Perez has done a 22.6. Gasly, though, with some mega pace as we go into Q3 there. Was not expecting that from our teammate. Right, last lap then here from qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Like I said, we need to try and get down into those 22s there, but I think Gasly might just have done enough for pole position here. I'm going to try and save face by putting it at least somewhere towards the front row. P3 might still be doable here. Getting a little bit held up by that Red Bull in front as we just go a little bit offline up the hill. Oh, that's not been the line through there. We're going to run horribly wide on the exit. Pick up a warning for track limits. We're going to be half-tenth up as we head down in towards the final corner. All or nothing through this final turn, though. We broke way too early. This lap's completely come away from us right at the very end. Are we even going to improve? It's going to be basically identical times. I don't think we did. And it's P7 on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix, though. It all fell apart right at the very end.
And with qualifying complete, Let's review our top three today. Gasly, Perez and Jack Aitken. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Well, there we go then. Pierre Gasly, first race for the team, first pole position. Love to see that from Pierre there. He's always been quite a good driver over one lap pace. He's joined by Sergio Perez on the front row there with Jack Aitken, Mercedes' new driver, ahead of Yuki Tsunoda there. Verstappen in a Mercedes sandwich. Sainz ahead of myself and Valtteri Bottas there. So even if we had improved, I don't think it would have been enough to really get past Sainz there. And yeah, Bottas, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo rounding out the top 10. 5 teams definitely within a shot this weekend. Let's dive in here. Round 1 of the year from the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Capure notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Pierre Gasly lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Aitken, Verstappen, Yuki Tsunoda and Sainz, Mr. Monaco, Bottas, Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo, Norris, Joe, Nicholas Latifi and Islet, Giovinazzi, Lundgaard, Lance Stroll and George Russell, Ocon, Mazepin, Mick Schumacher and Robert Schwartzman. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Right, well here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and for the second year in a row, we start P7 here in Sakir. So maybe it's not such a bad thing to be starting a little bit behind sort of the pointy end of the field. Soft, medium, soft, I think is going to be the way to go today. Want to try and be quick right at the end of the Grand Prix there. I'm not too sure how the car will be on fuel. Well, I'd imagine it should be pretty good. You know what, we're just going to gamble it today. Don't know if you don't try 25.5 laps worth of fuel in the car. Our new teammate, Pierre Gasly, on the pole. Maybe he can be a championship threat this year in the way Lando never was. But ready then to start round 1 of Season 6 of the My Team Career Mode here. Episode 98 of this insane series. Let's dive in here to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Sainz just in front, Bottas just behind. 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out and away we go. Really tried to avoid the wheel spin there, and actually not my worst start in the world. As we head down in towards turn 1 as Bottas immediately 2016 style. They're going to send it up the inside of a handful of cars. We're going to have a look around the outside of one of the Ferraris there. That's us navigating Sainz off the start of the GP. It seems both McLarens were told absolutely all the heroics down in towards turn 1 there, as Verstappen and Aitken getting their elbows out immediately with each other. But look at Pierre. Pierre's just sent it away off the start of the Grand Prix there. Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen now second and third. They're ahead of both Mercedes, as we almost had a look back around the outside of the McLaren of Bottas. I think one of the things we've really got to try and hope for this year is this car can try and fire up its tyres a little bit quicker than it often has done in the past. But yeah, Pierre Gasly, though, streaking away at the front of the field on this opening lap there. That's exactly what we like to see. Like I said, ahead of both Red Bulls and then both Mercs there. We're still just between the McLarens there. We've got Sainz has a bit of a buffer to Daniel Ricciardo as well. But yeah, things are going to unfold today. And it's going to be interesting to see, which teams are good on their tyres, which teams are good on their fuel as well. That's something we're going to have to try and keep tabs on today. I've taken a big gamble on the fuel, but I think, you know, the Mercedes power unit normally pretty economical on F1 2021, especially when you consider all the upgrades there. But Gasly leads the way at the end of lap 1 there on a 27.3 first lap. Are we going to potentially have a look for a move up the inside of Bottas back in towards turn 1? We're going to send it on the fin, and we're going to make that very, very clear there. It's now up in a P6 then, so a good little start in the end, up one place.
Good job.
Coming towards the end of lap 2 though, hanging on to Yuki Tsunoda there in the DRS. We desperately need to try and stick within the 1 second zone as we start some proper laps here. As Gasly still went another 7/10 faster that lap.
When within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
DRS now enabled, but we're sat at just over 1 behind Tsunoda. It's nice to see Pierre battling with the Red Bulls, knowing he won't get a message in his ear telling him to let him by. But yeah, we go purple final sector.
Before the end of the race, start being a little conservative with the remaining fuel, please.
I think fuel's going to be tight, but I think we are saving enough.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
New strat available. Not going to look at that at the moment, as we've got Red Bulls duking it out back in towards turn 1. This will hopefully allow myself and the Mercedes to close up a little bit more to the pair of them there, as they want us to go back the other way. So that Jack Aitken again getting involved there. I think that's with Max Verstappen to the outside that time round, he looks, as Verstappen, yeah, makes it very, very clear he's not going to have a battle with the young Brit. But yeah, this is all helping Gasly though, just a little bit, you know, sort of allow him to stretch his legs, get used to the car as much as anything else in race trim. But loving this, seeing Pierre at the front. We need a teammate that can fight. Right, we're all over the back of Yuki Tsunoda. Fingers crossed now we get an insight into how much downforce Mercedes are running, as we made big, big gains in the braking zone there. A little bit of wheel spin on the exit of the final corner, but gaining on the Japanese driver. Tsunoda aware as though he's going to sit defensive in towards turn 1. We'll force him off the line. Oh, Tsunoda almost locks up and hits his teammate there into turn 1 as we make a tiny bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. He gets all over the curbing on the exit and will dart to the inside of the Japanese driver there. Up the inside we go, way too late on the brakes there. We actually get a warning for a collision there, as I think we both moved towards each other right at the last minute, but we get away with it. It's frantic racing. That got the old ticker pumping just a little bit quicker there, but Tsunoda and myself, we're exactly where we were. Able to get round 2 here against Tsunoda as we head back down in towards the final corner. The Merc brakes very, very early there, but seems to ride on the throttle quite soon off corner exit as well. They're still trying to adapt to this Mercedes power unit, as again though we're going to go battling it down in towards turn 1 with Yuki. Sparks showering the circuit as well. Again, pretty even on the brakes. Are we going to see exactly a repeat of what we did 1 lap ago? No, this time round we're going to hang the back end out in front of him there and force Tsunoda into submission of P5. And now we are starting to make good gains in this Grand Prix. Perez, Verstappen, Jack Aitken still in front of us. Yeah, with Gasly now with a good couple of seconds behind him. But getting close towards that first pit window. How is strategy going to play into this? Oh, there we go. Gasly into the pits as well as Max Verstappen.
Is in for his stop.
Well, that's interesting to see then. The team want us to box this lap.
Best in lap you can.
Depending on what happens with Aitken and Sergio there, as that was a big lock-up in towards turn front. And I guess that kind of decides it then. We probably should box this lap. It's all back end getting very, very squirrely. I think these tyres have had enough. I think we are going to be a little bit vulnerable to the undercut here from Yuki Tsunoda. So we run a little bit wide through the penultimate turn. Interesting to see what tyres these guys are all going to have gone onto as well. There's we've got Alpha Towers and the Williams all on mediums by the looks of it. So they could be ones to watch later on in this Grand Prix. But all the top 3 pit, I'm sure Sainz is going to follow us in as well. Make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidy into the box there. And yeah, Sainz is going to come in. So Guan Yu Zhou is going to lead the way here, albeit just for a few laps there. Neither the Red Bull or the Mercedes get held up in the pits. Fingers crossed we won't either. Make sure we just get the car back into first gear. Or not, apparently. For some reason we got held way longer there than I was expecting, as here comes Max Verstappen, as well as Yuki Tsunoda there, who's battling out with Giovinazzi.
1 stop left.
So we have definitely been undercut in all of this by Yuki, as he's on the set of mediums as well there. So I thought we might have done an alternate strat I think we were the big loser in all of that. As Gasly still in the net lead of the race, down in P5. Can we get Gio before the middle sector there? That might be really critical for our Grand Prix. We're going to have a look to the inside of the Alfa Romeo. And we will just about get the nose up the inside of the Italian there. That was a little bit sketchy. But back inside the top 10 and still within range of Tsunoda.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
I think we're going to see a bit of a test now of how aggressive Gasly is willing to be in this race. He's now caught up to the back of those Williams and Alpha Tauris. Perez as well, not too far away from him, so he definitely needs to try and slice and dice his way through. This could really bunch up this top sort of 6 cars here, maybe even Bottas, who's just a little bit further back as well. Might be able to get involved in this, but we're, yeah, taking time out of Tsunoda. Definitely feel like we've got a bit more pace than the Mercs. So there we go, new fastest lap of the day as well. Love to see it, as Verstappen and Aitken going to duke it out yet again in this Grand Prix. Not exactly the driver battle I thought we'd see prior to this season, but I'm all here for it there as Verstappen cuts over the turn 2 curb, forces Aitken out. Tsunoda's now going to try and attack his teammate as well as we head up the hill in towards turn 4. Are we potentially going to be able to gain out of this one? Oh, Aitken very, very slow on the corner exit there, but he just about sits in front of me. Merckx still side by side as we're just watching Verstappen romp off into the distance there to the inside of the pair of them. No way am I risking that one this early on into the campaign, and we'll have to live to fight another day there. Oh, it's all getting a little bit dramatic early on between ourselves and the Mercedes there, as all Aitken tries to get hung out to dry there. This is not what Mercedes, I'm sure, want to be seeing. As Tsunoda, he should be able to pull off the move now with the DRS on the inside, as Aitken, yeah, does back out of it. Yeah, we're all getting very, very dramatic here. Tsunoda squirreling away as we head up the hill, but we need to try and move past the Mercs as well. As now Verstappen has been let free. Oh, look at that big run on the exit of the corner there. Aitken, I think, is struggling a little bit at the moment there, as down in towards the final corner. Tsunoda won't have any DRS. We pulled off a double overtake on the Mercs last season at Kota inside one lap. We might just be about to do the same here in Sakir. As we head back down in towards turn 1. Tsunoda no DRS to defend himself with. Can we go later on the brakes? Yes, we can. Get it slowed down, get it towards the apex. And we're now up into P8 of the GP. That all got a little bit feisty for another lap or so. That's what we like to see there, as Gasly is making moves through that pack of cars, but Perez is right with him. Look at this. All these slower cars are really bunched back up. This gaggle there, as we're now going to try and have a look for a move on Nicholas Latifi. Trying to use the short shift a bit more as well on F1 2021, as I'm sure Alpha Tauris have been told to hold station ahead of, well, I guess the betrayer that now is Pierre Gasly. But I mean, what on earth he was still doing at Alpha Tauri? How no other team had picked him up. They did put me in a bidding war for Pierre, in all fairness. They almost bankrupted us to get Pierre to the team, but should be able to now get a run on Latifi. Why is he going defensive in towards the final couple of corners here? Should we be able to get later on the brakes? No, Latifi trying to hang on in. A little bit of contact there. I thought I gave him enough room.
Brings you up a place.
Team happy with the move there. I can see Latifi's hand of rage going up as Norris into the pits, our former teammate. And yeah, looks like Pierre is getting very, very close now to Guan Yu Zhou, as Checo trying to navigate Callum Ilott back in towards someone there. And Verstappen might be able to get a run on the exit of the corner here. Is he going to be able to? He goes to the outside of the Williams. Plenty of battles here in the Bahrain desert to kickstart the year, as Verstappen's going to make the move work, and we're going to say thank you very much and follow him around the outside of Callum Ilott. We're going to slam the door firmly shut in his face. So close there, we might have broke his nose, but yeah, now you can see top 4 in this race right next to each other, all sat behind Guan Yu Zhou. How is this going to unfold, as Perez on a set of soft tyres there, so he's on a slightly different strat. Well, here we go, Gasly to the inside of the final corner there, and he might just have pulled off the move on Guan Yu Zhou, but now we're all going to be queuing up, try and move past the AlphaTauri. No, we're not. Guan Yu Zhou says nope, not getting involved in that, and jumps out of the way.
Lift and coast, please. Lift and coast.
Look at this though, Verstappen on Perez back in towards turn 1. We're just trying to wait for our chance to maybe make a move here, as Verstappen seems to have battled it out with everyone today, as we're going to capitalise on that. Look at that. Red Bull tripping over on each other. We get the run past one of them. Are we going to be able to look around the outside of Checo at the top of the hill there? I think his soft tyres are starting to give up. And look at that, a cheeky double overtake on the Red Bull. And out of nowhere, 2-2 Motorsport, 1-2 in the Bahrain Grand Prix there. Gasly just over a second ahead. Is he going to be able to run away once more in this GP? But it's all falling into place at the moment. And that was an opportunistic move. But yeah, still the top 6, 3 different teams duking it out.
For a new strategy option.
Team got a new strat plan for us. They want us in lap 22. I think if anything, we're going to pit a little bit earlier in this GP. But crazy scenes here in Bahrain. Now we've got the pace to match Pierre. We're lapping Mick Schumacher here on just lap 16 of the GP. Surely there was a big argument to say that Haas is dangerously slow at the moment. Barely crept in on the 107% rule there. And I mean, obviously it's not enforced on F1 2021, but yeah, Haas have got a lot of questions being asked of them at the moment about whether they should be on the F1 grid. So there we go. Checo into the pits though at the end of lap 17, end of lap 16 even, I should say. So he's now probably going to go mediums to the end. Is he going to be able to undercut and maybe launch himself into race-winning contention? Should also get confirmation over the next couple of laps if anyone's doing soft, medium, soft, or whether they're doing soft, medium, medium here. I want to pit about the end of lap 20 to go onto a fresh set of soft tyres there, but I wonder if the team gave us the alternate strat, because Gasly wants to come in at the end of 21. Pace is pretty good between both myself and my teammate at the moment, but I think we just need to try and focus on beating Verstappen for now. Oh, there we go. Gasly into the pits then, so he is doing soft, medium, medium in this GP, so we will take the lead. Yeah, for the first time today, we lead the Bahrain Grand Prix as we've just got 11 laps to go. As Aitken seems to have stayed out here with me. He might also be doing mediums, but now they're going to be a lot quicker than me over the next few laps before we pit onto a fresh set of softs.
Don't panic just yet, but we've seen a problem at our end. We're looking into it.
No, no, no. We cannot hear that message. We've done so well in the Bahrain Grand Prix. And I was genuinely thinking we haven't seen anyone retire from this GP. Please don't tell me we're going to have a mechanical failure here in Sakir. We can't have a mechanical failure with our first new race with Mercedes power. Please, team. Please.
The issue seems to be fixed, but we will keep monitoring it our end.
Oh, that is such a reassuring message to hear on F1 2021. That is basically this game's equivalent of a jump scare. But we can breathe. Let's do this thing. There we go. Pierre new fastest. Sets a 25.9. We are going to box at the end of this one, though.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
So Pierre's going to be ahead of me. Verstappen, it's going to be close between us two. But again, we're going to have a slightly fresher tyres, slightly quicker tyres for the last remaining laps. I'm about to lap an Alpine then. I'm not going to put any money on it, but I would have thought it's Nikita Mazepin as he's behind his teammate. Yes, it is. Only ahead of his former team, Haas. Everywhere Mazepin seems to go on F1 2021, just rots away on this game. But into the pits we come then. Gasly only 18.5 seconds back, so he's definitely going to be a couple of seconds clear there. Sorry, it's Perez even still in P2, so we might be around sort of Aitken and Verstappen then with a big, big hunt on our hands towards the end of this race. 2 seconds flat though. That's what I like to see late on in this GP. Is yeah, Verstappen's really falling back in towards those Mercedes at the moment.
See these tyres through to the end now.
So it's going to be very, very close between us and Sergio. Do not want to Maldonado him in towards Shelmon. We will slot back in behind. 8 laps to go of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Perez right in front of me. Gasly 4 seconds up the road. Who's going to win this? Let's find out. All over the back though of Checo. We've got to really utilise these soft tyres to the best of their ability over the next couple of laps. We've also got to try and time the move as well, so we don't lose any time behind Sergio. They're going to try and get the DRS and then roll on the power at this final corner, and fingers crossed set ourselves up for a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. Perez understanding it's probably not a battle he's going to have much say on at the moment, so it doesn't even go defensive there as Verstappen sets to 25.6, so he's still building up more confidence in the car. But Gasly now, the gap under 3. Could we still perhaps win this race? Look at this, purple through sector 1, purple through sector 2 as we round the final corner. This might even be close towards the lap 124 here in the GP. It is going to be a 24.3. Look at that for some pace.
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
As we've taken well over another second out of Pierre that lap, but now that should be fastest lap that is now ours. We just got to try and get these tyres now to the end. 6 laps to go here. A gap 1.5 seconds as Aitken and Verstappen still duking it out for position. Oh, yellow flags. Someone's got issues here. Might be our first mechanical failure
We have
of the day. Oh, it's one of the Alpines. I think it's Esteban Ocon. No, it's Callum Ilott, sorry, in the Williams. So that's a little bit gutting to see for them. So why is our HUD just flashed up? Not too sure what's going on there. Fingers crossed no reliability issues. Sometimes I don't like being a team boss on F1 2021. Pierre Gasly is such a driver with so much talent, still yet to win a Formula 1 Grand Prix in this mighty and career mode. Of course, took that race victory at the 2020 Italian GP, but with 4 laps to go, we are going to take the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix there. Mazepin kind of moving out of the way. So we head back in towards turn 1 there, and it's still a 2-1. It's still a 1-2 for Team 212, but yeah, Gasly, his first race victory, might have to wait for another day. Well, starting the final lap then of the Bahrain Grand Prix, as always, Sakir is a track where you learn a lot about yourself, your car, and the other teams around you. And so far, you know, there was a lot of media speculation at the end of last year that it had just been a one-off by 212 Motorsport. We've gone aggressive. We've gone quite cocky, I think, with the gold paint scheme this year. It would have been quite funny had the car broken down. I can appreciate that, rocking a full gold paint. But Gasly looks mighty strong as well in the second car there. Perez looks like he's going to beat out Max Verstappen in the first race of the campaign, which is very, very interesting. It looks like Jack Aitken even is not afraid to get his elbows out as well, even when battling the best the sport's got to offer. But 212 Motorsport, they came into this year. Mercedes have made big advancements back towards the front. Red Bull are still right there as well. This has often been a track that suited our car, especially over race pace there, and just a slightly superior strategy from myself as we round the final few corners here from the Bahrain Grand Prix. We started 7th and got the race victory last year here in Bahrain, and it looks like for the second year in a row, we are going to walk away with the win from 7th on the grid. Gasly, though, it's going to be a matter of, well, just a few weeks, I think, before he takes home his first race victory of this career mode there. But round in the final corner, 212 Motorsport, we've gone gold for Season 6, and we're going to bring the gold home. It's victory in Bahrain.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
Smiling faces on the pit wall after a superb win here at Sakir. And rightly so. What a brilliant effort from the whole team. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula 1. Mr. Monaco takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
Let's move on to the Constructors. The owner drivers team moved to the top of the table. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, we kick off Season 6 in the same way we finished off Season 5 there. Us finishing ahead of Pierre Gasly in round 1 of the year. Then matches the 1-2 at Jeddah towards the end of Season 5. But yeah, from 7th on the grid though, we managed to make the strategy work here today. They're really, really happy with that result. Like I said, there was a lot of uncertainty heading into the new year there, but 212 Motorsport have proved, yeah, that we're definitely a team that can battle for championships season in and season out there. We finished P1 ahead of Pierre Gasly there, Perez in 3rd ahead of Max Verstappen, and yeah, Jack Aitken and Yuki Tsunoda 5th and 6th there. Definitely means we are in for a titanic 3-way scrap come the end of the campaign there. Bottas in 7th ahead of Guan Yu Zhou and Daniel Ricciardo, and yeah, Williams again picking up points in the season debut. That is exactly what Nicholas Latifi would have wanted there. Ferrari seemed to struggle a bit more during that Grand Prix. Definitely wasn't quite what we were expecting by them, but like we've seen so many times in the past, I'm sure they'll come on strong later on in the campaign. Because it was both Ferraris ahead of Alphas, ahead of both Astons, Alpines, and then both Haskars rounding out the order there. I mean, the Haskars were near enough a lap behind Nikita Mazepin, which says everything you need to know at the end of one of these races. Of course, Drivers' Championship will be the same as the race results there. Constructors-wise, 44 points for us, the maximum haul from the first race of the year. That means we're ahead of Red Bull and Mercedes there. 27 and 18 there. McLaren in 4th on 8. AlphaTauri with 4 points there. And yeah, Williams in 6th place with a point on the board as well there. Things they'll love to see after the first race of the year there. Ferrari, Alfa, Aston, Alpine and Haas, the only teams yet to score. But thank you all so much for watching this first race back of My Team Season 6. Almost 100 episodes in, and you guys are still smashing the support on this series. We'll be back very, very soon, probably Sunday, if I'm correct in thinking, for round 2 of the year in Shanghai. Often that one's been a bit more of a Red Bull track. We'll see what Mercedes have got to offer as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, we'll be back very, very soon for round 2 of the year in Shanghai. You guys do not want to miss it. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.